You begin as a pale, flickering embryo suspended in still water. No parents, no siblings, just you alone. At birth, you're barely 3 feet long, weighing less than 22 pounds. You have no natural armor, no venom, no means to defend yourself. Your body is 80% water, lacking both muscle tone and fat reserves. Your fins are thin and translucent, better suited for drifting than swimming. Your eyes are disproportionately large, good for detecting movement, but bad for depth perception. You're not born into a family, you're born into a food chain. You're already behind. You try to swim, but your muscles can't coordinate well yet, so you twitch, you flail, you float. You are not a hunter, you are bait. The current doesn't carry you gently, it claims you, and as you're pulled downstream, the lesson begins. If you can't swim fast, you'd better learn how to endure. Magikarp have no territory, no shoal, no allies. So when others see you, they don't see kin, they see clutter. Goldeen strike you with horn attacks for sport. Basculin chase you until you collide with driftwood. Even Surskit skim past you with more grace than balance. You're seen as a joke for one reason, because your one and only move, Splash, does nothing, but it does something. Splash is a neurological reflex, a wild flailing of the entire body that generates minor lift and ripple. It strengthens your core, builds your swim bladder, adjusts your inner ear. It won't win fights, but it stops you from drowning in your own failure. Even Wingull join in, dropping stones just to watch your reaction. You're not a threat. You're not competition. You're the weakest known Pokémon in your region, and they remind you every day. You drift into a shallow eddy. The water's warm, oxygen-rich. You slow down for the first time in hours. It almost feels safe, but this stillness reveals you. Your bright red-orange scales shimmer in the light, making you a floating target. A Pidgeotto spots you from 30 feet above. It doesn't hesitate. They never do. It dives. You try to swim. Your primitive fins just flap. You splash. It's desperate, pointless, but just enough. The bird pulls up early, sensing something's off. You got lucky, that's all. Your heart races. Your operculum flutters to force oxygen through your gills. You can only extract enough oxygen when your mouth is open, and water passes rapidly over your gill arches. You can't breathe standing still, so you move, even when you're tired, even when you're not going anywhere, because stopping is dying. A human catches you with a rod and hook to the side of your face. You're reeled in, not with excitement, but with mockery. You're placed in a Pokeball, scanned, then dismissed. You're not for battling. You're a joke. They throw you into a battle against a Growlithe. The fire type yawns. The crowd laughs. You splash again. Nothing happens. Then you're returned, not to safety, but back to the water. Your gills are raw. You breathe heavy. Your body remembers the cold of the ball and the shame of release. You sink, not because you're injured, but because you were never meant to be held in the first place. You're not even disappointed. You expected this. Your skin is thin and lacks scale armor. You're vulnerable to even minor changes in temperature. Below 55 degrees Fahrenheit, your blood slows. Above 80 degrees, your enzymes fail. But rivers don't care about optimal ranges, so your body adapts. Your pain threshold increases. You endure. You survive algae blooms, leech infestations, sudden floods, low oxygen zones. Each new injury becomes a map of where not to go. Each scar, a warning label for what will never feel safe again. Your nerves still fire when bitten, but your reactions are slower because you've learned that most predators aren't looking for a fight. They're looking for panic. And if you refuse to panic, you sometimes get to live. You grow by micro-movements. Your splash, once ridiculed, now builds muscle fiber density. Your myomeres, the fish equivalent of abs, begin to contract more efficiently. You no longer drift. You steer, not gracefully, not fast, but purposefully. You begin to recognize patterns in current and flow. You hide behind rocks where the insects collect. You leap over shallow nets instead of swimming through them. You gain half an inch in length, then another, then another. You don't celebrate growth, but you stop fearing the next day. That's all resistance is, not dying repeatedly. Until it starts to look like progress. One day, you spot another Magikarp, just as awkward, just as ignored. You stay close, not because of affection, but because shared invisibility feels safer than solitary pain. You don't name them, you don't speak, but you align your swimming, and that's enough. Until one morning, the water feels wrong, sharper, faster. A shadow passes overhead, then below. The swirl, the silence, the blood. Gone, just like that. Your gills flood from gasping. You convulse against the current, but you do not move. move, because mourning in this body looks exactly like giving up. You stop moving. You let the current drag you to the riverbed. Your muscles ache. Your mouth hangs open, dry. You don't even blink. Your heart rate slows, not from calm, but from apathy. You're tasting the water. You stop filtering the mud. You stop caring, until a twitch, a fin spasms, not from thought, from reflex. Then again. Something inside you refuses to die quietly. Your brain doesn't know it yet, but your cells do. There's more waiting for you, but only if you crawl toward it. They come for you again, this time Spearow. 2 of them. You don't dive, you leap. Not to escape, to erupt. Mid-air, you feel the blood surge. Your body expands, your spine cracks and reshapes. The glow begins. Heat, light, pain, then power. You land in the river with a force that splits the current. You are now 21 feet long, weighing over 500 pounds. You are Gyarados. They flee, not because you chased them, but because of what you became. Your instincts override memory. You taste the fear in the water. You don't roar, you just breathe, and everything else trembles. You don't return to old places, not because you're afraid, but because there's nothing left worth remembering. The ones who mocked you, they no longer name you. They say you were a storm, that you came from nowhere. They never say Magikarp. They never say your name. Because they know if a Magikarp can become this, then they are not safe from anything. You patrol the deepest trenches now, not to hunt, to think. You could flatten a riverbank, but you don't, because becoming isn't about revenge. It's about survival, and survival never apologizes for what it had to do. You swim now with a force that warps the current. At 21 feet long and weighing over 500 pounds, your body is made for command. Your jaw pressure can crush rock. Your presence stirs silence. Your scales are no longer soft and orange. They're cobalt and jagged, outlined by finned rage. Each spike along your back acts as a warning, but no one ever warns you. You don't just live in the river anymore, you own it. But ownership doesn't satisfy hunger, and hunger doesn't wait. Your stomach now demands much more than it once did. A faster metabolism, a deeper appetite, the evolutionary price of your transformation. You see something small ahead, a polywag, young, not unlike how you once were. You hesitate for a breath, but hunger doesn't pause. You charge, the water folds around your mass like paper. In one strike, it's over. No chase, no fight, just silence. You don't feel victorious, you don't feel proud, you feel full and empty. There is no celebration in survival, just the knowledge that the next time it won't hesitate, and neither will you. You didn't want to become a monster, you just wanted to stop being a joke. But in the wild, the difference is smaller than you'd think. Your transformation was not just in form, but in function. Your once rudimentary fins are now jagged blades. Your dorsal fins stabilize your movement, and your serpentine form allows rapid coiling strikes capable of shearing through trees. Your barbels, those whisker-like protrusions, help sense vibrations in murky water. They have grown longer, more sensitive. Your jaw has expanded. Gyarados can unhinge it, taking prey half its size. And though you don't use your teeth for chewing, you rip and swallow whole. Fast digestion, minimal waste, efficient. You now produce high quantities of adrenaline at the first sight of a threat. Not fear, but readiness. Your vision adapts between shallow light and riverbed dark. No more squinting. You see everything now. Even the eyes of those that run when you arrive. Even the ones that look like the friend you lost. Especially them. They say Gyarados are aggressive by nature, that they attack everything they see, but nature forgets to mention not all attacks begin outside. Sometimes the fight lives in you. You circle a riverbank filled with smaller Pokémon. You could destroy it all in seconds, but you don't. You watch. They don't see you, or maybe they pretend not to. It's easy to pretend a shadow is just the wind. You don't think about going back to the place where you were born, but there's nothing left to return to. Just water, just noise. So you keep moving, because movement keeps you sane. And in this new body, sanity is optional. You're no longer what you were, but that doesn't mean you don't remember. And memory is the only thing keeping your instincts from swallowing everything. Now they whisper. Say a monster haunts the shallows, that the river's angry, that it waits. But you're not angry, you're not even loud, you're just there. Proof that even the smallest splash can become a tidal wave if it refuses to disappear. They don't remember what they did to you, they don't remember who you were, but the current does, and the current never forgets. Not every evolution is seen, not every monster was born monstrous, some were just small things that refused to stay away, and some only wanted peace, but were only ever offered hunger. So now you swim, not to conquer, not to destroy, but because the river is the only thing that remembers you without fear, and sometimes that's enough.